This week, I thought I would show you a video, a bit of a behind the scenes, what happens at Dash when we're making a front bar, or rear bar for that matter, for a particular car, what the steps are, because I swear a lot of people go, anyone can do that, or it's easy, we just get, China to make it. Well, it's not quite that easy. So this is what happens behind the scenes. So number one, we've got to find the car that we're going to work with. The Patrol we got lucky with back in the early days. We've just taken on the Tank 300, and as much as we've had disputes about this in the Dash offices, we're not going to go out and build a front bar for, say, a PX Ranger, because there's 26 different variants. Every supplier under the sun is making one. Competition is high, and to be honest, Dash isn't that big, and we'll get smashed our own, what we're good at. So we're going to go and pick unique cars, which I guess industry has sort of put lower on the list than us to come to market with. And like I said, we got lucky with the Tank. We got lucky with the Patrol Y62s and even the Series 5s. Then no one knew that the Series 5 Y62 was going to be as strong in the market as it is. Then the Suzuki Jimny, we're a little bit late behind that, but we do have bar work coming out for that one. But like I said, most recently is the Tank. As soon as I heard that it's a live axle, ladder frame, twin locked, at the time I was looking at the hybrid, which was like 258 kilowatt or something. Like, to me, it was a no-brainer, but the rest of Australian manufacturer went, no, I'm not going to bother with that. Who's going to buy a Chinese full drive, honestly? Turns out it's a brilliant car. So we're going to do it, and hopefully we're a few months in front of everyone else. So I'm going to run over to Dash Warehouse now, HQ, and talk about the next bit. So let's say we come up with the most amazing design in the world. Even if it is, you can't just go straight into the Australian market and sell it. It has to have like an ADR approval. There has to be some engineers signing off on it. Make sure that the airbags aren't going to prematurely go off. Oh, the sun, sorry about that, we'll walk backwards. How about that? So there's a lot of considerations. Plus, are all the factory things going to work in it? Are you going to have, the sonar, radar? Is there room for a winch? The winch needs to be rated. If there's recovery points, that needs to be tested and rated. There's a fair bit to consider, not to mention, if anyone followed us back in the early days of Series 5, the first bar that came out, we did everything right except one thing. When we were designing it, we forgot to organise a place where the number plate's going to go. We did the cameras, everything. So even, we can overlook things sometimes. But we're mature at this now, so I've got a prototype down here I'm going to show you in a minute, and that's for the Tank 300. But talk a bit about more so the ADR and engineering side. There are some mistruths as I unpack this bar about ADR certification and all that sort of thing. There's no dude that goes around and looks at your bar and certifies it as such. There's no governing body. It's just like an Australian design rule that says that there's not going to be any protruding parts. There's not going to be anything that's forward from the front of the bar. So sometimes you'll see like a D-shackle recovery point put on the front of a bar. As soon as you do that, it's not ADR. There's a whole heap of just little things in the ADR that say what you can and can't do if you're going to try and sell this in Australia. But the big one is destructive testing. So I can build something and say it's ADR approved and put the sticker on. However, if I was ever judged in a court of law because there was an incident and something happened, that's when I'd need to show some sort of destructive testing. Something to say that we have crashed the bar, or even by computer aided design, doing it that way, to say that measuring G-forces that an airbag isn't going to prematurely go off. We're more worried about it prematurely going off than sometimes not going off at all, because that's the last thing you want. You're driving down the road, hit a speed hump, poof, goes off, right off the car. Just unpacking it, look at this. new little signatures. I don't know if it's coming up on camera. There's like a little bit of red like in there. The fog lights are so important when you're designing a bar. It's like, that's where your eye is drawn. You can look at all the aesthetics and the whole thing together, but the little details is what makes it, and that is going to look really cool. That's sort of our dash shape that we're doing now with all our front bars. I digress. Finally dug it out. This is the bit I want to show you, that bit. Alright, the bit that we're looking at here is the winch cradle, the bit that actually bolts to the chassis of the car. And what is important here is this section. So, see the little holes? It's like cheese, all made up holes around it. They call this a crash can. So when there is an impact from, you know, kangaroo or whatever car you're hitting, when the impact here, this will end up crushing and absorbing some of the impact. Why do you want it to absorb it? Well, essentially either that gets squashed or you do. So there's a design feature in the bar that, and every single ADR approved bar has got this, or has got some sort of impact sort of crushing zone. That's where we need to basically shake off 18 Gs between the front and rear of the bar, and that's what prevents the airbags going off prematurely and making it safer for you and me. So there's going to be some heroes out there that are going to talk about the triple hoop bars and how much safer they are if you hit a roo. They have the same crush can built into it. They are going to crush here because that's where they're designed to crush. Fair enough, the triple hoop part isn't going to, but at the back of the bar, that's going to bend. I don't care what you say. All right, I've just realized I really need to rewind a bit. Before we even get to the bit where we're making or destructive testing it, there's the design part. We'll jump around to Daryl, our product manager's desk here, and have a look. This is actually the Jimny bar, I think, but the tank bar is going to look very much similar. But this is where we sort of get into the detail, have a look at all the parts, components, see how they're going to fit in a model sort of spec. And basically, this is the first time we go from having a brief to actually seeing what's involved with the bar. We're up to the fun part, pulling the tank apart, and half of Love Day has fallen out of it. Sorry, Matt, who's installing this bar. Let me show you some of the challenges we have when test fitting a bar. So, as much as you think you just draw it in CAD, press the print button and a bar pops out, there is a lot of incidentals that have to be sorted out, which you can only do when you physically get the thing in your hand and work out a solution for it, because we can't just fab this one up because we've got to make, you know, hundreds of them, hopefully. So here's all the bar all laid out. Yes, there's lots of pieces, but it will go together, I promise you. Now, when we put all of this in, like, we've got to think about all the additional stuff that's going to go in. Fog lights, what are we going to do about that? So I've got some aftermarket ones, I know about that one. Now, this is a sensor bezel out of a Series 4 Y62. It comes in a Nissan box. It looks from the back very similar to this one here. In fact, if I push the sensor into that hole, it actually fits perfectly, like from the front, but the back it's not quite perfect. So this is where, you know, do we go and modify this? And this is an option we're considering at the moment. We can modify this, then go get it 3D drawn, get a mold, then injection molded, and then we can start making our own sensor bezels. That's at least a 5-6 grand exercise. Or do we reuse these ones on the back of the factory tank bar? Or do we try and get something made out of metal, which is actually much easier? There's lots of options. All right, who's this man here? All right, tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're doing for us.
I'm Anthony from Fuse Design. I do design, graphic design, and I'm here helping out with instructions for fitting the bar. So writing up the instructions, photographing it, putting them together, so hopefully makes it easier for people to fit them.
That's right. So we import Anthony over. He does all of our instructions for Dash Off-Road. So if you've seen him on our website, why? Because he's the best.
Thank you.
Ooh, look at that. So I hope you enjoyed a bit of an insight of what goes into behind the scenes of making a bar. I'll show you the bar in a minute, just wait. Before you get onto the Dash website or call us, this isn't available. So this is just the process up to this stage. Next, we do what we do best actually. We stand around and have a beer and look at it for a few weeks, work out all the little bits and pieces we need to change, because this is like prototype 1. You almost never get it right first go. So we'll go and change all the little bits that need to be changed, do it again, still do the crash testing, all that sort of stuff. But at least, okay, I'm going to show you, get a glimpse of what it is, because even though it's not finished, we're pretty chuffed with what it looks like. So there you go, we're out for this one. We're going to do more content on tank and everything we do at Dash Off-Road. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time on YouTube. Yeah.